For ISIS, tough times as it seeks to regroup. It's been a tough month for the Islamic State. Its fighters were finally driven out of the Syrian border town of Kobani after more than 100 days of fighting against Kurdish militia. Iraqi government forces pushed ISIS back in Diyala province. The city of Mosul, still under ISIS control, is beginning to look vulnerable. And airstrikes have taken a toll on the group's infrastructure and field commanders. Its ability to win the release of a jailed jihadist in Jordan or the ability of its followers in Libya to attack a Tripoli hotel may provide brief propaganda boons, but they don't affect the fundamentals on the ground. Nor will its attempts to export terror to Europe. But lest anyone declare victory, predictions of ISIS' demise are wildly optimistic. ISIS still controls some 50,000 square kilometers of Iraq as well as up to 30% of Syrian territory and at least 10% of its population. To the west of Baghdad, it is still on the offensive in Anbar, and recently raided checkpoints on the Iraqi-Saudi border. Pentagon spokesman Rear Admiral John Kirby said last week, "We're only 6 to 7 months into this thing. This is going to be a long struggle." The senior official at the U.S. State Department echoed Kirby's line this week, saying ISIS expulsion from Kobani is part of the early phase of a multi-year campaign. ISIS is a very adaptive organization, the official said, and terms like turning point were to be avoided. Even so, there's quite a contrast between September, when U.S. officials said the fall of Kobani to ISIS seemed inevitable, and Kurds celebrating on the city's streets this week. ISIS chose Kobani as a symbol of its virility, even sending hostage John Kirby there to make a video about the group's inevitable victory. Kobani was a recruitment poster in ISIS' efforts to draw more foreign fighters to the caliphate. ISIS continued to reinforce its presence in the town despite constant airstrikes. General John Kirby, U.S. coordinator of the campaign against ISIS, said in November that the group had impaled itself on Kobani. The State Department official said ISIS losses there, likely running into four figures, could help counter the messaging that had attracted foreign fighters. A narrative of inevitable glory and conquest had been replaced by images of bodies left on the streets, the official said. The growing number of those foreign fighters may also be disillusioned after several months of airstrikes. Setbacks in Kobani and elsewhere have led to a stream of deserters, dozens of whom have been executed according to local activists cited by the Syrian Observatory on Human Rights. Analysts say one trend in coming months may be a stream of disillusioned foreigners trying to escape ISIS territory. In Iraq, a leading expert on ISIS, Hisham al-Hashimi, told CNN that ISIS has now lost ground in several areas and needs to regroup. Torbjorn Soltvedt, the senior analyst at consultancy Verisk Maplecroft, agrees that ISIS is on the back foot in Iraq, relying more on classic insurgency tactics such as roadside bombs and unable to move in force because of the threat of airstrikes. Among its latest reverses, ISIS has lost control over a number of villages in the province of Diyala, northeast of Baghdad. Iraqi troops and Shia militia known as Popular Mobilization Units launched an offensive last week to retake ISIS' last stronghold around Baghdad, 50 miles 80 kilometers from the capital. According to Iraqi commanders, the whole province of Diyala is now back in government hands, after several months of intermittent battles. Soltvedt says it became increasingly difficult for ISIS to sustain its supply lines in the region,